Hey, man. Oh, what's my line?
I hate that I know you didn't do it on purpose. That's what's really annoying, you know? You didn't even do it on purpose.
That was 100% on purpose.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, man, have you...
What's up? Why did you do that with your body?
That was an honest reaction.
A 7-year-old being like, "Ah!" Have I ever heard of what?
Have you ever heard of Elmer McCurdy?
Elmer McCurdy?
Yeah.
Is that Elmer Fudd's real name?
Yeah. Honestly, maybe.
Okay, Elmer McCurdy.
Yeah. So, this story, man.
Is this Jeanette's dad?
Oh, whoa.
Jeanette McCurdy?
It could be, actually. So here's the deal. This is a story of a man who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
Okay.
He looks so sad in photographs.
Cried a river so big they had to make it a canal.
Sorry, that was a dumb song reference. No, this is this guy. I'm just gonna tell the story. I don't know how to. I don't want to bury the lead. I do want to bury the lead.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's a better story that way. So
most stories are. You ever listen to somebody who doesn't tell a good story?
Yeah.
And they just give you you know what I hate? I hate. Have you ever been around me telling a good story? Because I'm a professional storyteller.
Yeah.
And someone, namely, I won't even say her. I won't say her name, but you know who I'm talking about. Will jump in with the thing I'm leading up to. Like I'm trying to paint a beautiful picture, and it's gonna land here.
Land at a
and
good
she'll
story.
jump in and just go, and then this happened, and you're like, if you would, you know what?
I wish. I wish you eat your dry chicken and get out of here.
Yeah, you. I guess I'll just take your. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, you tell good stories.
First of all, you want to see a dead guy?
What? He goes, yeah, my name is Spoonie Singh. And everyone's like, you're stupid, dude. You're real dumb.
A couple train robbers next to this train that they've broken down.
Ski masks, obviously.
So they bombed it. Mount Rushmore. And that's how the mountain was formed.
Oh my gosh. Things I learned last night.
So, Elmer McCurdy, he was born in 1880 in Washington, Maine, which is a city in Maine. He wasn't born in both Washington and Maine.
He's a very large person.
And he had a troubled childhood.
Okay.
He was raised by his aunt and uncle.
What year was he born?
1880.
1880. You probably said that already, but I missed it.
Yeah, I did. It's fine.
Okay.
Raised by his aunt and uncle, and they, when he was in high school, he found out that his aunt, or who he thought was his aunt, was actually his mother, and his aunt and uncle raised him because they didn't want his mother to face the ridicule and social climate of the town because she didn't know his father.
So he thought that this was his sister his whole life?
Yeah. No, he thought this was his aunt.
Okay.
So his aunt and uncle raised him. His mother, he thought, was his aunt.
So
his mom's brother and sister.
That's what I was trying to get to. Yeah.
His mom's brother. Well, not brother and sister. His mom's brother. And sister-in-law.
1880s. You don't know.
So the reason why
her mom's brother and sister.
Yeah, the reason why they elected to raise him is because his mother wasn't positive who the father was. So she didn't have a father to raise him with.
Which in the 1800s is...
that was a big deal. And so they're like, we'll raise him.
They were like, no one's ever going to talk to you again if they find out.
Yeah, that this is your child. So they took him in, they raised him, and he found out and was really upset about it. Also found out that the most likely candidate for his father was his mom's cousin. Just a really weird, tangled family line that is messy.
How do you find that out? He looked down at his feet and was like, whoa, I'm supposed to have 10 of these things.
My toes face backwards. This explains so much.
Yeah. Mom, Aunt, what's his mom's name?
Aunt Mom.
Aunt Mom. It just feels like there's something you're not telling me. You know?
I can't quite put my
Aunt
backwards
Mom.
toe on it.
I can't quite put my sewn together fingers on it. You know how some people can do this and
exactly.
he can't not do that, you know?
So in high school, he became an alcoholic when he found this out. Very, very upset.
Sure.
Ended up running away from home, tried to get into a few different careers until he eventually landed on the military, which is honestly, I view the military very similar.
Okay. To what?
To cults. They just prey on innocent youth that are in troubled situations and say, hey, why don't you be one of us?
How many weeks till this comes out? I hope it's Veterans Day. I hope it comes. Are you doing the math on it? Dude, I felt that way at the air show.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like I went to the air show this weekend and it is just straight up, I mean, the guy on the speaker was like, this plane is used to kill Russian SAMs and China. And you're like, what? He said that. And I was like, I don't think you can say, I think we might have to cut it out of the podcast. I don't think you can say that.
I don't think you can say that out loud. Yeah.
But that's what he was, you know,
It's a giant
the whole
recruitment
thing is just a
mechanism.
recruiting thing.
Yeah.
And then they go, we'll give you free college. You know, you got a future.
Yep.
You know, and, you know, if you...
We'll help you find your dad.
You really don't have an identity when you get in. That's real.
Yeah, it's
know?
true. It's a little
culty.
culty.
Yeah.
That's a pretty culty thing.
Okay, so he joins it for the benefits.
Yeah, he joins the military, and while he's there, at this point, it's 1907. He joins the U.S. Army, and he actually gets stationed in Fort Leavenworth, so right around the corner from here. And there he's trained.
I just did a show in Leavenworth at a college there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, "It's not haunted." Which, anytime you walk into a building and someone was like, "Hey, just so you know, it's not haunted,"
You know.
and then he left me alone in this unlit building. Didn't turn any of the lights on.
Hey, by the way, it's not haunted in here. See ya.
Dude, it's like it's a Catholic school. There's pictures of nuns all over the wall, and then there's
Yeah,
a
that's pretty
poem.
haunted.
There's a poem on the wall titled "The Walls Breathe" at University of St. Mary. That's literally the title of the poem, and I said, "That's great."
Yeah, not haunted. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't
those
believe
lungs
you.
are about to be asphyxiated
Asphyxiated
with this smoke from burning down the building.
from burning the building down.
We're about to have tar lungs.
Yeah. I think the poem was actually about that biosphere. Yeah.
The walls breathe.
Walls breathe.
So he is in the military in 1907, just in time.
He's trained as a machine gun operator.
Okay.
He gets decently good at that. Also trained as a nitroglycerin demolitioner. Nitroglycerin operator. I don't know what the
Sure.
nitro man. Very minimally in that, but he has a decent enough understanding. He could blow some stuff up, you know, but not like, but like a little, you know.
He could, yeah.
Like he could blow some stuff, but it's kind of like he knows as much about explosives as like your uncle knows about fireworks. Like he can tell you a lot about a lot of them, and he can tape a bunch together, and it's really cool.
But at the same time, he's got 9 fingers, and so you take everything he says with like a little bit of a like, ooh.
You're like, yeah, but, so he does a little mini career in the military, and he's honorably discharged on November 7th, 1910. Just in time.
Just got out just in time. What was he discharged for? Do we know?
We don't know. They were just
honorably?
like, I think we've had enough of you. You can go now.
They're like, go on, Elmer. Go on. Go.
Get. So he moves to St. Joseph, Kansas, which threw me for a loop. I didn't know there was one of those. But anyway, so he moves to St. Joseph, Kansas, where he meets up with one of his military buddies. And together, the two of them, they go out and they buy some chisels, some hacksaws, some funnels for nitroglycerin, some gunpowder, some money sacks. And the police are like, this looks like you're trying to rob some banks, so they arrest them.
Oh, good.
They arrest them, and they're in court.
They're like, you can't prove we're trying to rob banks.
And they said, we're building a foot-operated machine gun. And the court was like, cool, get back at it.
What year was that?
It was literally a couple months later. It was January 1911.
1911. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, we're building the machine gun, and it's protected under my Second Amendment rights. I'm like, all right,
cool, man.
Can't argue
see
that.
ya.
Yeah,
get on out of here.
Go on, get.
So in January 1911, they win that court case and are proven not guilty, I guess.
And then they go on to rob some banks.
And in March 1911,
100%,
2 months later,
100%, dude. I love our justice system. That's like we had them. You know, they were literally in our custody.
This close. So they decided, hey, we know how to use nitro. We know how to use machine guns.
We've got this foot-powered machine gun.
What about burglary? We haven't tried that yet.
Yeah.
Let's get into burglary. So they learned about this train called the Iron Mountain, Missouri Pacific train number 104.
Okay.
Not great at naming things back then. And they learned on the train there was a safe that contained $4,000.
This is a train robbery?
Yeah, this is a train robbery.
Ooh.
And so the train contained a safe that had $4,000 in silver coins in it, which adjusted for inflation, that's about $116,000.
Wow.
So decent price, right?
Yeah.
So these guys, they go for it. They hop the train. They find the safe, and he creates his little nitroglycerin concoction and puts it up against the safe door. They go to another car, and while the fuse burns and blows a hole in the safe door.
Yeah.
Except for he used way too much nitroglycerin.
Blew up the whole car.
Blew up, well, not the whole car, but the whole safe, and fused most of the silver to the safe walls. And so
Nice. And so now it's a real stone in the sword situation.
That's what they got the
It's
chisels
like-
for. They're like scraping.
They're just waiting
silver
for the right
off the
guy
edge.
to come along that's able to pull it out.
Hey, can you
Oh,
try
yeah.
to pull that out of there?
Hey, will you try to pull that? No, you're not the right one.
Nah,
Get out
not
of here.
yet. Get out of
You're
here.
not the chosen one.
You're not the chosen one. A couple train robbers next to this train that they've broken down.
Ski masks, obviously, right?
Yeah. People are trotting
yeah.
along on their horse.
Did the train stop?
Hey, man, how's your hands?
Did the train stop or did it keep going? I imagine the train engineers in the 1911s were just oblivious to what was happening behind them, you know?
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty loud in there. They're throwing a bunch of
They're
stuff.
like,
Unless there was like gunshots or something. Well, they probably heard the explosion.
That's
They're
what I'm
probably
saying.
like, we should probably slow down and stop and pull over, see what that is.
Yeah.
Let me turn on my flashers, find out what's going on here. So they end up making out with about $450, which is like 13 grand. So
It's still okay.
decent, but I mean, of 116.
Yeah, you're going to fraction. So they go, we got to do it again.
Yeah, this is true. But all things told, I mean, they made out with a decent chunk of change, right?
Sure.
So September 21st, 1911, they decided, hey,
About 6 months later.
you know, trains are tough because they move.
Yeah.
Banks don't.
It's like, yeah, but they thought we were going to rob a bank. And they're like, yeah. They did think that.
Maybe we should.
But now we're gonna. But we told them we weren't.
We told them we were building a.
I like the idea of an ethical robber who's like, no.
We said we wouldn't do a bank.
If we have nothing but our word. You know?
We have to do trains. We said we weren't doing banks. So the Citizens Bank in somewhere in Kansas, September 21st, 1911.
In where, Kansas?
Somewhere in Kansas.
Oh,
I don't
it's just
know.
somewhere.
Some town in Kansas. These guys showed up and they spent 2 hours banging on the wall outside the the bank with hammers trying to get in, like sledgehammers, just banging on
Trying
the
to
wall.
break the wall open?
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't go through the door, but they figured if we just sledge open a hole in the side, no one will know we're there. I assume people heard them and left or something. I don't know. Like
People in the bank?
I assume.
Wait,
people in
they're
the bank-
open. They're open. The
Yeah,
bank is
I'm
open.
assuming. I
And
don't
you just
know.
hear,
Todd, you hear that?
I thought I did, but I don't. What is
What
there?
is that sound? I don't know what that is. It sounds like someone's hammering the wall out there. Did you hire someone to hammer something? For 2 hours?
I mean, like for the first couple minutes. Well, then at that point, someone's had to go to inspect the building.
Yeah, someone's had to go look.
Someone walked around and then went.
Just see these guys with the sledgehammers.
Then came back and was like, yeah, there's two dudes sledgehammering.
Sledging the wall.
Sledging the walls. Doesn't look like they're making any progress.
Yeah. Should I call someone or?
They'll get tired. Let them do it.
Let them tire out. So eventually they broke through the wall. It took them 2 hours to do it. Eventually they broke through the wall. And then they got to the vault and they said, okay, nitro guy, do your thing. So Elmer, he sets up his little nitro. I'm so tired. So he's
like his arm. You know when your arms are just like
so rubbery.
Like you're like, okay, here we go.
Okay. So he sets up his nitro, but again, uses the wrong mixture. Not quite enough. It was enough to blow the door off the vault, but this is one of those situations where there's the vault and then inside the vault's the safe. So he has to blow through 2. And so the vault blows the vault door off and it actually flies through the bank and just absolutely destroys the bank. But the safe is unharmed.
And, you know, you got to think too. They're sledgehammering a wall for 2 hours with all the resources of a nitro bomb, and not any point in that 2 hours did they go.
They say, "Hey, we should bomb the wall.
We should just bomb the wall." If it's enough to like make the door fly through the bank,
and then it's enough to get you through the wall.
Were they like, maybe we should use this?
Maybe we should,
But is that all they had with them? They couldn't get to the safe now.
Yeah, they used it all. And so now they couldn't get to the safe. And so they started trying to hammer through the safe for a little bit.
That makes sense.
Meanwhile, their lookout panics and runs.
Yeah.
And so they're loose.
The lookout's like, dude, I was standing there and a vault door started charging toward me. I was like, is this some kind of advanced security they got?
And so they freak out. They end up just taking all the coins that are in the tray outside the safe and running with it. So it was $150, $4,300 in today's dollars. Again,
some money.
You got some money, but
how much was the nitro? How much did that cost?
I don't know. I'm assuming he just kept it from when he left the military.
Okay.
Like I'm assuming it's kind of like when you graduate and like
you got your textbook still.
This is my couch now. Oh.
Yeah. This is my couch now. Sure. And then you get married and your wife is like, it's disgusting. Get it out of here.
Yeah, and then you're like, fine. Little brother, you can hold on to this for a little bit, but I want it back eventually.
And he goes, I don't want this.
And then he holds on to it, and then he goes and buys new furniture
and throws it away.
Just throws it in the dump to like literally not even to like a new home. Doesn't even rehome it.
Didn't ask you about it either.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me. I just come over one day
you want
and
to
they're
drop
gone.
it off at the couch shelter?
Yeah,
you wanted like in a little cage and like families walking by.
Well,
and like, ooh, is this our new little couch? Ooh, is this our new little couch? Ooh. You know?
I expected.
And he gets there and they're like, no, that couch is too aggressive. We had to put it down. What did you want him to do? What are you talking about?
I expected him to, at the very least, keep it in the family, give it to someone else we knew, so I could still go visit it every once in a while.
Remember when he was in a car accident and the whole road was just covered in chicken strips? Have you told that story? It's funny now because he's fine. Have you told that story?
I don't know if we have. My brother, there's this restaurant called Slim Chickens. Shout out to Slim's. We love it. And I don't know what happened. He got in a wreck leaving it. And he bought 2 orders of Slim Chickens because he wanted to eat one of them later. And so he gets in that wreck, and it was a decent wreck. Like the airbags deployed and everything, and he was eating while he was driving. And so he opened the door and the chicken just fell all over the street. And so there's just chicken strips all over the street when I pull up.
And I think that's hilarious.
I pulled up and I see his car all messed up, chicken strips all over the street. And then him behind his car sitting on the curb eating chicken strips out the other box that he didn't spill.
It'd be rough if he was picking out glass from his chicken strips, biting into it. I mean, I can't tell if it's crispy or if that's glass.
I literally thought I was like, bro, did you go back and get a new? He's like, oh no, I ordered 2.
No, I ordered 2. One of them casualty. I'm gonna claim it on the insurance.
Yes. Hey, I got a question. Will you guys cover my
State
chicken?
Farm, it's like a 2004 Ford Focus and a box of Slim Chickens strips. And State Farm's like, I guess we'll cover. I mean, it's $10. I guess.
He gets a check for $5,400 and $1,288. Wow.
Oh man. And the fire department knew what to do because he had that chicken on board sticker on his car.
The jaws of life, the back to get his
They're like, oh my gosh. Did more damage to the car than the wreck did.
We gotta save that chicken.
You could have opened it. Anyway.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. If you liked it, it would really help us out if you leave a review or a comment on YouTube, if that's what you're watching on. And if you want to check out another episode, I recommend Julianne Kopke. That was an episode all about a woman who survived a 10,000-foot fall from a plane without a parachute. Landed in the Amazon. Absolutely bonkers story. And it was pretty fun. We had a lot of fun, Jaron and I, in that episode. So you should check it out. It's one of my favorites right now. But thanks so much for being here. So this another crime. I mean, they got money.
Sure.
It didn't go great.
Yeah.
And then came the big kahuna, the Katy train. Now, this was a big deal, the Katy train.
Okay.
This is October 4th, 1911, like 2 weeks after this last one.
Okay.
There's a train traveling through Kansas.
They're like, let's go back to trains. We got more on the train heist than we did the bank.
We're better at trains. We're better at moving targets, you know?
Yeah.
There's a train traveling to Oklahoma through Kansas that was carrying a $400,000 royalty heading to the Osage Nation from the U.S. government.
at that time?
Yeah. So it's worth $11.6 million today.
Jeez.
And they just had that in change.
How do they know this stuff? How do they know this stuff's on the trains? Do you know?
I don't know. The government probably put it in the paper. They're like, we're sending $400,000 to the Osage.
Yeah. On train number 104, here's the schedule.
Here's the schedule.
If you want to wave at it.
Yeah, go tell them. Yeah,
go
shoot
cheer
some
them
fireworks nearby or something. I don't know. Congratulations.
That guy lighting a cigarette with a firework? Okay.
And so they said, yeah, we're going to rob that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think they would keep that under wraps is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know how they found out about it.
They got a train guy?
I guess. I don't know. A conductor. Oh, a whistleblower.
Funny. That's good. I was going with trainee.
So they find the train. They jump on the train, and
the conductor is a really cool train robber name, though.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, they call me the conductor.
Cool. So they jump on the train. They get ready to rob it, and take all the money and whatever you do when you rob. Glycerin in hand, machine guns, all this stuff. Right? They get on the train. They realize this is not the train. This is just a regular old passenger train, and we've already blown.
Now we're here.
Come in here, guns blazing, and been like, "This is a robbery." And so we're
Dude,
like,
is that what they did on the train?
Yeah, and then they're like, "This is just."
How do you know that?
I don't know.
Is that what they did?
This is an assumption.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't come on and be like, this is a stick up.
I'm sure they did. It's 1911. I'm sure they jumped in and were like, oh, we're robbing you.
With their fedoras and pinstripe suits?
Yeah, exactly. And
is that what they were doing?
I'm assuming. This is an assumption, but I'm sure it's true.
It's either that, it's either like that, or it's like the Silver Dollar City ride. Have you gone the train at Silver Dollar City?
Years ago. I don't remember it.
Yeah, they pull up, and you've done the train at Silver Dollar City, right? Where it's a guy in overalls, no shirt. Got a stick in the air, and the train stops, and he goes, "This is a stick up." It's a stick in the air, and it's jokes like that for 15 minutes. It's wonderful. It's a very fun show.
Well, this is a stick up.
They go, "Give us your dollars or your daughters," and I go, "I don't know if that's. I don't think you can make that joke anymore in 2022." They still do it though. It's the 1800s there, and so yeah.
So
they just started letting women in that park last year. Before, if women went in the park, they wouldn't talk to them. They'd only talk to their husbands.
It was like IKEA. They had a place for them, and you could pick them up at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Took me a second to realize IKEA has a kid place.
They have a kid place. Yeah, they don't have a women place.
That's what I was like, is that what you're doing? I wish they did, dude. I'd spend so much less money. If stores had a spot where I could drop off Reagan and I could just leave her there, it would be so much faster. I guess home. I guess I could leave her at home.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. She's not allowed to leave.
So this This robbery is their hallmark robbery.
Yeah, because there's that big jewel is not on board. The thing they're after is not there. So then what do they do? Go after passenger stuff?
Yeah, they made out with a watch, a coat, a revolver, 2 demijohns of whiskey, which I had to look this up. This is what, those like a water cooler where you put the water that holds the water. That's a demijohn.
No, it's not.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
so
stupid.
2 demijohns of whiskey.
I mean, that's heavy too. That's like a lot. You can't hold that by the neck of it. You gotta
exactly. Shout out to the passenger who that was his carry-on.
Yeah.
Will this fit in the overhead compartment?
Should we try to get on Southwest with a demijohn? Can't get through TSA with a demijohn.
Yeah, that's 2. That's way more than 3. What is it? 3 liquid ounces?
3 ounces, yeah.
Yeah,
Just 4 ounces. But
is this 4 liquid ounces? I don't know.
It's a demijohn.
And $46 cash.
Okay. This is what they're known for, though?
Yeah, this one got published in the newspaper as the smallest in the history of train robbery.
Wow. Couldn't have gone worse, actually.
And I do want to note, at this point in his career, Wikipedia actually, the note that it leaves in the article says his robberies were generally bungled affairs due to McCurdy's ineptitude. So that's what he's remembered for.
I was gonna say if it's always his like partner in crime's fault, that's one thing. But it seems like this guy just sucked at crime.
Yeah, it's his fault. It's his fault 100% of the time, pretty
Wow.
much. So it was about a year after his discharge. This is now October 4th. They commit this crime. It didn't go great. They all kind of scattered and ran across Kansas, right?
Who got to keep the watch? How do you decide? How do you split up the bounty? I'll take half a demijohn.
Yeah, give me a quarter John. I don't know. Cut that revolver in half, and I'll take $3.
I guess. So they scattered across Kansas.
They scattered across Kansas. He finds one of his friends who has like a hay bale he can crash in. It's like in a barn. He's like, hey, I got a hay bale. That's my guest bed.
Oh, okay.
You can crash there.
I was imagining like the ones that are out in the field, just the hay bales.
Yeah, you want to crawl up in there?
He's just like, that is a crowd work joke I did the other day.
What?
Because I did a school in Wyoming, and a lot of the students looked like it. And you know what I'm talking about. Like this guy was an 18-year-old college freshman who looks fresh 42,
Yeah.
Like the long plaid shirt, jeans, big belt buckle, and like not like a 20-something guy who wears all this stuff as like stylish rodeo. Like this guy, he works.
He works for it.
He works.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I told him, I said, you look like you were born on a combine. I said, it actually looks like they unrolled one of those hay bales and you were just in it. And that's how how you came in the world. It was a good crowd work. I was like, that's funny.
That's really funny. That
so
is
I've been
really
holding
funny.
on to that. So
That's a good one.
So anyway, he's
laying in the hay bale.
Okay.
At this point, he's got a few ailments, as you do in 1911. He's got pneumonia. Sure. He's got tuberculosis. He worked in a mine for a little bit before this, so he's got tuberculosis.
Yeah.
He's got trichinosis, which is a thing. I had to look this up and verify that it was real. I guess it's
what is that?
It's a parasite.
He can't quit doing trick flips. Like he's just
look how tricky that guy is.
Whoa.
He's got trichinosis.
It's tricky.
Trichinosis. No, it's a parasite. It's like a parasite you can get, and then it gives you all the runs.
Okay. So he was having a hard time.
Yeah, he was physically not in great shape, and he's had a pretty awful go at being a burglar for the last year.
Not a great robber.
Not good at his new career. That his new post-military career is not going super hot. Had the big win where they tricked the government, and it's all been downhill since then.
Yeah.
And so he's camping out in this hay bale, just downing these demijohns of whiskey. He got to take those, and he's been just drinking,
living off
like
that
crazy.
for sure.
3 days after the heist, sheriffs track him down with bloodhounds, and they get outside the barn, and they're there for a couple hours, wait till the sunrise. When the sun rose, I guess he spotted them and just started shooting at them.
Oh,
So they got in this big shootout.
with his machine gun.
Yeah, with his foot-powered machine gun.
Really,
He's just
though, or
laying
with
there.
the revolver?
No, with like a normal gun.
Oh, man, yeah, you can't out. He didn't have the firearms. He didn't have the power to
Yeah, so they get in this
shoot out.
They get in this long shootout. Eventually, he gets shot in the chest. They kill him. And normally, this would be the whole story.
Yeah, but 3 days later. The barn door rolled away.
But Jaron, when I tell you this is the very beginning of the story,
No.
I'm so excited for you to find out the rest of
What?
this. This is just.
I can't wait for you to find out next week on TILLN.
First of all, you want to see a dead guy?
What? Quit doing that.
Yeah, so this is Elmer McCurdy.
Yeah. This looks like the student I was just talking about. I'm not joking when I say like that is what he looked like.
Yeah.
Not dead. He looked alive.
He looked dead. Okay, so let me tell you the story. Here's what happens after this.
Okay.
So the police shoot him, and they have to, when the sheriff shoots somebody, they don't just walk away.
Yeah, they're
People
like,
come
all right.
and pick that up and take it to the
Pick
coroner.
that up. Is what you just said. They pick that up. All right. Someone comes and picks them, a person, a living being who had a soul and was just killed.
So they took him to the Undertaker at
Of the WWE. And he was like, oh yeah, dude. He did his his hair looks drenched all the time. What was that sound? So they take him
to the Undertaker
Right.
in
They're like, bury this.
Pahuska,
Why
Oklahoma.
don't you bury that?
And so Joseph Johnson is the guy's name, the
Okay.
Undertaker. And so he left the body in the funeral home for a couple weeks, waiting for someone to claim him. Because he's like, I'm not going to bury this guy without someone paying for it. And so he's waiting for the
I don't
family.
bury anybody for free. I'd rather have a rotting corpse.
In my office.
Just walking in your office out of pride every day. You're just like,
Ugh.
it smells terrible in here.
Claim this guy.
Smells like a poor dead guy in here. Ugh.
So he embalms him because no one's showing up to claim him. So he embalms him.
Okay.
And just kind of leans him up against the wall in his office. And people all over town start showing up because they're like, hey, I hear there's a dead guy at the funeral home. We can go look at it.
They really were like, you want to go see that dead guy?
Yeah, 100%.
In Salina, Kansas. Dead guy. Pull off the highway. Come see him.
So Joseph is like, wait a second. I can make some money off that.
No.
So he puts them in a separate room and he starts charging people to come in and see
And he's
the
like,
dead
you guys
guy.
like that? I got more of them.
Yeah, I got lots.
I have a lot of dead people. He starts digging up all the dead. He's like, get them out of the graves.
he builds this building, calls it the Hall of the Dead, and he's like, come look at it. Look at all the dead people. $15.
Yikes.
News starts to spread of this place where you can come see this dead bank robber or train robber, the dead robber.
Why is it? Okay.
And people are legitimately traveling to come see this dead guy.
Imagine being in, I don't know, Illinois, right? And you're like, you're going to take the 2-day trip. It's not a fast trip. You're going to take the 2-day trip to go see this. Like,
This dead dude in Oklahoma.
it's what, 1911
1911.
at this point. Just. Honey, what do you got any big plans this weekend? Now you do. You and me taking a vacation.
Yeah. We're going to go see a dead guy. Well, I am. They won't let you in.
They won't let you in. They've got a spot where I can leave you while I go look at a dead guy. How would you like to see the inside of a coroner's office?
So word starts to spread that you can go see this dead dude in Oklahoma.
Sure.
And every circus in the country starts sending letters off to this guy and is like, let us buy your dead guy. We really want to buy your dead guy.
Can we please have your dead guy?
And he's...
Give us your dead.
Give us your dead. This is a principled undertaker. He's like, I cannot release him to anyone who's not the family, but I can profit on him while he's here.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I was like, well, this is where I draw the line, though. And then someone's like, I mean, so he's my... Okay, so technically he's my son, but he thought he was my nephew my whole life, and...
Yeah, my cousin's his dad.
It's a weird thing.
So James and Charles Patterson showed up one day, and they said, yeah, this is our brother-in-law. We want to pick him up. We want to go bury him in California with the rest of the family. And Joseph is like, okay, here you go. And
they lied.
They shipped him to Kansas, where their traveling carnival, the Great Patterson Carnival shows.
They lied. They're like, no, he's really...
We're so sad to lose him.
We're so sad.
And Joseph just believed him. And was like, okay,
why wouldn't
take
you?
him.
People lie all the time, dude. It's great. My brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they took him on the road with their carnival, and they called him the Embalmed Bandit exhibit. And you could, in your carnival, just go ride the tilt-a-whirl, look at a dead guy.
Okay.
Look at this dead dude while eating your funnel cake.
They put him in the tilt-a-whirl to like really scare some kids. And he's just over on the...
They started putting him in, but not buckling him in, so he would shoot out. People were like, man, I saw this dude fly out. And we came out there, and he looked like he'd been dead for months.
Gross. Okay.
So they did this for 6 years.
6 years? They're just traveling with a dead body?
With this dead dude.
How long does embalming last, I guess? That's a serious question. How long? It doesn't last 6 years. I could tell by your face. Do we have a picture of what it looked like by the end?
Yeah, we do, actually.
Oh, I don't want to see it, do I?
Yeah, you do.
No. Oh, no. 6 years in, someone else shows up and like, that's my brother-in-law. I think that's my grandfather. Let me see his calves.
If I just see his calves.
I'll know.
So after those 6 years, the ownership of this circus was transferred over to Lois Sony, which just another circus person. I think they just sold the whole enterprise.
Yeah.
And this guy, he put it into his separate circus thing, which was his traveling museum of crime. And so in the Museum of Crime, you could come see a real dead bank robber.
Okay.
And they did this till 1949.
For 30 years?
Through both world wars, the Great Depression, all of it. McCurdy's body's traveling the country so people could pay some money to just look at it.
What's crazy is he made more money as a dead guy than he did as a robber. Till 49?
Okay, get this.
Fresh off World War II, picking up that random girl in the street. That's what they did. They came back from war and they were just like, you're my wife now. For our honeymoon, we're going to go see a dead guy. Well, I'm going to go see a dead guy.
I'm going to go see a dead guy.
The rules have not changed yet.
Yeah, eventually you'll get to see him. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight for it.
And so in 1949, Lois Sony died, and his company died with him.
Okay.
And so everything from his circus got put into a warehouse.
Everything got embalmed. And someone was like, do you want to see
Does anyone want to claim
circus?
This?
Which inside has a dead person? You're just doing Inception of dead things?
They embalmed it so it'll last forever.
Yeah.
It's like everything's just like covered in this like syrup.
There's a dead museum within a dead. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It was pretty wild.
Come one, come all. Hey, thank you again for listening to this episode. Making sure that you don't miss one in the future, go ahead and subscribe to this podcast, whether that be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You'll get an alert when we drop a new episode. And if you want more, if you want something a week early, you want to be part of our Discord, more access to us as creators, you can support this show on Patreon. It helps us go a long way. Nothing that we're doing is possible without our Patreon supporters. If you want more information about that, please text TILLN to 66866. Thank you so much for being here.
So they put all of the circus, all the props, all the games, all the rides, everything into this warehouse in LA, where his son Dan just kind of was responsible for all this crap for like the rest of his life.
The circus owner's son?
Yeah, the son. So Dan just knew he had this warehouse of circus stuff forever. And
a dead body.
In LA. And he would constantly get solicited by people being like, hey, like, we're filming this movie. Like, do you have a prop like this in your warehouse? And he gets a call from a filmmaker who's filming a movie called She Freak and needed a dead body. And he's like, you know what? I actually have a wax figure of a dead guy if you want to use him for your movie. And so they loan him McCurdy's body.
He thinks it's wax?
Yeah. Dan has no idea this is real. Dan, because it happened, it's now 1964.
Is Elmer McCurdy the skull in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's a real human skull in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
In the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland,
yeah,
above the bed is a real human skull.
Really?
Because when it first opened, they were all real.
They were all real?
I mean, most of them, yeah.
How'd they get them?
From the schools, the colleges. And then
hold on. You're gonna have to give more context to that because that sounds like Disney just went and took a bunch of college kids and stuck them in.
No. From like their research, like they had skeletons and stuff, and they're like, "Can we
have
buy your skeletons for our ride?" Where they go through, and now there's a bunch of dead. So all of them are fake now, except for that one skull that is
it was just
real.
Too high. They couldn't get the ladder up there.
I guess that, or they were just like, "Yeah, this is," or it is dark Disney, you know, where they're just like, "Yeah, we're freaking." We actually hate these kids.
We're here to scare you.
Yes.
So, yeah, because
they think it's wax.
Whenever Lois bought the other company, that was like 1915, 1916. So Dan was a young child, if even born. So he has no idea that this guy is an actual dead guy. He just thinks he's another circus prop. And so it's used in the film She Freak. There's a passing scene. I can't find the scene. But there's a passing scene where in the background, Elmer McCurdy's real corpse is dead in the background of the film. And they thought it was a wax figure.
Okay.
4 years later, the film happens.
Oh my gosh.
They put it back in the warehouse.
Too much stuff.
4 years later, Dan Sony sells McCurdy's body along with a bunch of other wax figures to Spoonie Singh, which is the owner of the Hollywood Wax Museum. Again,
thinking it's wax.
Like all the other wax figures.
I mean, how good is embalming? I really don't know, I guess.
I mean, good enough for everyone to actually think, and good enough for the owner of the Hollywood Wax Museum to see
think
it
this
and
is a
think,
wax.
That's a wax figure.
What?
So Spoonie gets his hands on him, which I want to, for a second, acknowledge Spoonie as a name.
I don't care about any jokes right now. Let's just go on. I want to know what happens.
So Spoonie gets it, and
Spoonie's
right after...
a really funny last name, though.
That's a first name.
Spoonie's his first name?
Spoonie's his first name. His name's Spoonie Singh.
Spoonie Singh? That's a made-up Hollywood name. That's stupid. That's no way that's real. Spoonie Singh. That's like they literally, people do this, all right? They sit around in these LA cafes, and they're just like, what's my stage name?
What's my stage name?
He goes, yeah, my name is Spoonie Singh. And everyone's like, you're stupid, dude. You're real dumb.
He's not even a stage person, though. He's the wax museum
well, he was
owner.
trying to be a stage person, and then he failed.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
every
he bought a
person
bunch
who
of
lives in
wax.
LA and owns something weird tried to be something more.
That's
you
fair.
know?
That's fair, I guess. So just
Do you
after
think
Spoonie,
the people on Hollywood Boulevard that are overweight and dressed as Spider-Man,
That's
you
what they
think
got
that was
there
what
for?
they shot for? You know, they were like, I'm going to move from Ohio. I'm going to be the Spider-Man on Hollywood Boulevard.
I don't know.
But I'm not going to keep in shape enough to do it.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
You ever taken a picture with a Wolverine with a gut? You know what I'm talking about?
Anyways, so Spoonie gets the body.
Okay.
And a couple months later,
What year is this now?
it is. Hold on, I'm doing the math.
This is 50 something.
About 1960 something.
Jeez.
At this point.
This guy has been dead for 50 years at this point.
Yeah, this is the late 60s probably. So Spoonie, right after he buys the body, there just happened to be this exhibit that the United States government was doing at Mount Rushmore, that they made a call out to all the wax museums. And we're like, we need a bunch of wax people to put at Mount Rushmore.
Why? Why? What could that possibly be?
I don't know. I'm assuming I can't find
We
context.
need a bunch
on
of
this.
wax people. We're doing this film set thing. It's supposed to be the moon.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the moon. We're doing this
Elmer
thing.
McCurdy was the first person to step on the moon. And they thought they were sending wax figures, but he really became the first human being.
No, it was this thing where they were testing to see what would happen to wax in like a nuclear explosion. So they bombed it, Mount Rushmore, and that's how the mountain was formed.
Oh my gosh!
The smoke cleared, and there was Mount Rushmore.
There were 4 heads.
The explosion made the sound. I was like,
So there's a trumpet sound. I just want to make sure. You're saying there's a trumpet sound, and there are the 4 horsemen. You're saying that the Mount Rushmore is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in this scenario.
and all these
And the wax
pillars of
figures are
wax,
just
these little pillars of
puddles,
wax.
except for one human skeleton just standing because Henry melted his skin off, but his skeleton is still just standing there. And I mean, every other wax figure is a puddle.
Just melted.
But he's just
saluting because he was a soldier.
You're like, oh my gosh.
No, not even close. What happened was they. I don't know
What were they doing with the wax figures up there?
I don't know. My assumption, and I don't know if this is true at all. I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, my assumption is that they were doing an exhibit about the construction of Mount Rushmore, was what I assumed.
Okay.
I don't know if that's right or not, but we'll go with
Sure.
that. So they set it up, whatever. All the wax is there. Well, they did this exhibit for a couple months, and they sent it back to Spoonie. And I guess at Mount Rushmore, it was pretty windy. So the tips of his ears got blown off. He lost a couple fingers. And so they sent like a check with it. They're like, hey, we damaged your wax and the elements a little bit. Sorry about it. And so he got it, and he was like, man, this is a little too gruesome for my wax museum. So he just kind of put it in storage and for a little bit until he found a buyer. And he sold it to an Ed Learch.
Okay.
This is my favorite one. Who is the owner of the Pike Amusement Park in Long Beach, California. And Ed was like, this is a perfect to be a hanging prop in the gallows of my fun house. The Laugh in the Dark fun house. It's a haunted house.
Yeah, it is now. For sure.
And so they hung his lifeless body in a noose and just dangled it in the thing, and people ran around, and it was supposed to spook them. Like, oh, it looks like a real dead guy. It was.
Oh my gosh.
And it was there until 1976.
76. He's been dead for 65 years. He's been dead longer than he was alive.
Literally twice his lifetime.
Oh my gosh. And then what happened? Does anybody ever figure out it's a real person?
Yeah, so here's what happened. On December 8th, 1976, the TV show The $6 Million Man was filming an episode at the Pike Amusement Park. And there was a scene that was going to be going through the Laugh in the Dark haunted house thing. And in that scene, one of the production assistants said, hey, we need to move the noose gallows thing to a different part in the thing for the shot so we can get that shot. And so Ed was like, yeah, do whatever you need to do. Just put it back. And so they moved it, shot the scene, put it back. And when they were putting it back, they broke the arm off. And when they broke the arm off, they noticed bone, muscle, tendons. And they were like, hey, wait a second. This looks like a real body, not a wax figure. And Ed was like, would you look at that?
Ed was like, huh. Is that illegal?
Yeah, am I not allowed
Am I in trouble for that?
Yeah, can I not have dead people in my park? Is that not okay?
You already filmed it though, right?
Yeah,
Are your cameras on right now? Are your cameras on right now?
You still have to pay me though, right?
Cameras on right now? Okay.
Turn that off. Turn the camera off.
Yeah, turn the camera off. Let's really be him. Whoa, Ed. Whoa.
Anybody who talks.
Hey, yeah.
Anybody who talks becomes a prop.
You're like, Ed, did you kill the guy? No, clearly not.
Clearly I had nothing to do with
I thought
this.
it was a
But if
wax
you
figure,
talk,
but I swear. Now hiring. Hanging guy. Okay, so what do they do now?
so this launches an investigation because at this point,
You don't know? Yeah.
the only people who remember died in like the 50s.
Yeah.
And so it's been like 20 years since anyone has any idea who this guy is.
And someone's like, I married his granddaughter. I know exactly who that is.
So they end up launching this massive investigation, and they found a bullet in his chest. They found, strangely enough, deep within his mouth, they found a penny from the 1920s. So someone who went to see it in the first carnival was like, I'm gonna put a coin in there. And it
Look at
stayed.
this dead guy. Hey, honey, I know you can't see because you're in the other room, but look.
But look, watch this. I got him.
I got him, Lois.
There was also a carnival ticket from the 40s. So another person had the same idea.
In his mouth?
Like 20 years later, put a carnival ticket in there, and it stayed.
In his mouth.
Yeah, in his mouth. And it stayed for another, 40 years?
And then he woke up. That was the craziest part.
What's in my mouth? He's like,
What happened to my arm?
oh my gosh, this is more than I ever stole. And so they ended up doing all these tests.
They traced it back.
They discovered this was the body of Elmer McCurdy, famed bank robber who was really bad at it. And so they ended up putting out a call and saying, anybody want to claim this body?
And two brothers showed up.
They were like, yeah,
Like,
that's right.
he's my brother-in-law.
That was
He's been
Walt.
dead for
Walt
65 years. He's my brother-in-law. And they're like, come on, Walt, let it go. And he's like, I've got a great place for this.
He's like, just you guys wait and see how many buddies I put in my ride.
This is insane.
And so nobody claims him. Eventually, they bury him in Oklahoma next to another famous bank robber under 2 feet of cement because they were like, we don't want anyone stealing this guy. Because that was... Because let's be honest, if I heard about that, I'd be like, "Oh, I need that."
No, I was preparing to already. They called it. They really nailed it.
But yeah, I got a picture of before and after. So this is him at the first carnival, dead at the first carnival, which you already saw, and then him after they broke the arm off on set.
Oh my gosh, very clearly dead.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If you saw the one on the right and you didn't see the arm was broken off, you might just think, oh, hey, yeah, that's just a mannequin thing somebody made for this ride, for this theme park. Especially if you're in a theme park or on a movie set, like you think that's fake.
I guess.
But yeah, that's his real actual body.
There's a dead guy on the screen. Aren't you going to giggle?
Here's the best part about this, is he's not the only one.
What? Ew, I don't like the way you hear that. You heard that, right? Amplify that, and just make that a sound bite that we just put in places. That was terrifying. It's so far away from the mic where you're like, ah. Who else?
So there's this guy, Jeremy Bentham. Bentham? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but he...
Yeah, there's a little giggle.
So he, gosh dang it, I keep closing this. Hold on, let me, sorry, I'm just so excited. He died in 1832. And
Okay.
he was a philosopher who had this belief. He called it. He had this belief that we should all embalm ourselves after we die, and allow
Embalm ourselves.
Yeah, well, obviously not yourself.
Yeah, have someone else do it.
Have someone embalm you after you die, and then like leave your body with your friends and stuff. So that way, like, I don't know.
They can say goodbye.
No, that like you could just still be around or something. I really don't understand it. He called it your auto icon. And he said, leave your auto icon with everybody so they can come still be. You can still be present.
Doesn't this happen in some cultures? Like they keep the body.
I think we talked about it in a 1 minute.
Yes.
Where they keep the body. It was a thing. They kept the body and they said goodbye.
Yeah.
But he was more just like, it's nice to have you around. And he pictured a world. He pictured a world where like, picture like those long, like in Forrest Gump when he's running down the long driveway with all the trees.
Yeah.
He pictured a world where you have the long driveway with all the trees, but in between the trees is all your dead family members just standing there, and like that you've just propped up all the way along the auto icons.
That's what he pictured.
Yeah, that was the world that he wanted to live in. And so after
It's just a horror movie. It's just like a.
that does sound like a Key and Peele thing, or I guess just Peele. Key doesn't help with that stuff.
Yeah, Key does the funny stuff.
Yeah, Key's like, I don't want anything to do
Peele
with that.
clearly has some issues that he's taken out of the movies. So
Anyway, so he
dies
did
in
it.
the 1830s.
Yeah, he
He
dies in
was
the
like,
1830s.
hey, embalm me. But then you also gotta hope your family's on board for that. He's like, hey guys, someone's gonna embalm me, and you gotta keep me around.
Keep me around.
And they're like,
I don't know about that.
okay.
So they did it, and he was a philosophy professor, and so they actually kept his body at the University College of London's campus, and he was just like
Okay.
in the student union until the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. No.
Yeah, here's a picture from 2003. Hold on, I wasn't going to show you this one, but now that I said that, I feel like I need to show you this one.
Do they at least take care of it better than the other one?
Yeah, they brush his teeth every morning. Well, a student has to. The student body
Freshman. The freshman has to go and get the pennies and
I
the little
gotta
tickets
go
out of there.
brush Jeremy's teeth. Yeah, this was 2003. 100. What is that? He was born in-
170 years.
Yeah, dead in the student union.
Just chilling there. I mean, like, I don't want you to Google this because he's just. And it's what's crazy about style is that he's stylish now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's crazy about how cyclical style is. Like he's dressed as
He's
the
on trend
1830s
now.
but like he looks good.
And
Are those
he's
his
just
hands
sitting
or
there.
those gloves? Please be gloves.
Those are gloves, I'm sure.
They have to be.
Yeah, and he's just sitting in this like engraved with his name Oregon accumulator box.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's how they keep him looking so good.
Is there glass in front of that?
I
Do they shut those big
don't
doors
know.
at night to make sure he doesn't get out?
sure he
What is that?
doesn't escape.
There's huge doors on the outside of it too.
I'm going to be honest with you. If there was a dead guy in the student union, I'd steal him all the time when I was in college. So, like, I'm sure they lock that thing up when there's no one around. I would always have this guy in my dorm room.
Yeah, okay.
Always.
Why?
Because it's funny.
It's terrifying.
It actually did become a pretty big problem with people trying to nab him. So in the mid 2000s, they made a weird decision.
To what?
What they did was
to elevate him 50 feet so no one can reach him. Now he's just hanging in the student
floating in
union.
the student
He's
union.
just
From fishing wire, so you can't see it.
no. I'm saying in his little box, but you're saying like Bass Pro
Like a
mounted.
Bass Pro turkey or something
That's
flying
what I'm saying.
above.
I'm just like, no.
No, what they did is they
Looks like the Quaker Oats guy.
painted his whole face
The school colors.
They painted his whole face gold, closed his eyes, and painted like really photorealistic eyes on his eyes, and then cut his head off and put it in a box in a glass box in the student union.
No.
Like, people keep stealing this dead guy, so let's cut his head off and put it in a box.
Which is somehow more stealable. That's terrifying.
Yeah, so
Get this off the screen. Just that's not funny. Get that out of here.
So
How much does it cost to go see him?
Jeremy Bentham?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like 5 cents.
Is it free?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the college.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, the University College of London.
Do people take pictures with it?
I don't know, actually. Let's see here.
We use hashtag Jeremy Bentham.
It's a 10-hour trip from here. Estimated cost is $979 to get us there. Should we make a new tier?
Yep. So that's it then.
Yeah, that's it.
Every day I think of worse things that could happen to me after I'm gone. I mean, like, I didn't even know that was a possibility. I didn't know it was possible that my body could just be
A circus freak for 70 years.
Yeah.
Hey, at least someone figured it out and buried him.
Yeah, after they tore his arm off.
Can you imagine being that production assistant? You're like, Mom, I just got a new job producing for this great TV show.
Great. It's gonna be
awesome. Is this a real person? Oh my God.
That's traumatizing.
Hey, can I keep the arm though?
I got new fears. Every day I have new fears.
I love this story. This was recommended by a patron. Let me pull it up so I can remember.
That's so...
Vivacious Hannah. Appreciate you for the recommendation. This is a great one.
Do you know what you want to happen to you? We've had this conversation, but like...
After I die?
Yeah. Well, now I want this to happen.
Yeah, I really want this.
You know, if you die before me, I'm going to embalm you, and I promise I'll put you on the set.
Yeah, replace me as...
No. You'll be in this chair, and it'll be me, and I'll just sit here, and we'll still filter through the angles and everything.
Yeah. You'll reshoot every episode.
Yeah.
And just have my audio.
Yeah. And then I'll just make new jokes, and like you won't react to those jokes, you know? You'll say something, I'll go, oh man, I went way off script. It'll be great. And at the end,
I'm looking forward to that show.
It'll never end because I'll just be like, are you going to say it?
Are you going to say it?
Are you going to say it?
Say it? And I'll just be like...
And you'll close your eyes though. We're going to paint different eyes on you.
Hey, thank you so much for watching that episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you want to watch more episodes, you can do that here, or there's other highlights. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel. We release new episodes every single Tuesday, which means if you didn't like this episode and you're still here somehow, you can go back and watch many of the other ones we've done. And if you want to help us do more of those episodes, please consider joining us on Patreon, where if you're like, I just can't wait for another one, well, Patreon has next week's right now. So you can do all of that at TILLN.com. Please subscribe. Thanks again for watching.